First, with a brief rebuttal, my opponent has turned the Son of God into a silent, invisible partner. That the Son was personally, physically involved in the original Genesis creation is nowhere to be found in Scripture. As a matter of fact, the opposite is true, as per scriptures like Hebrews 1, verse 1 and 2. God, verse 1, having in the past spoken to the fathers through the prophets at many times, various ways, in these last days has spoken to us by a Son or in a Son, whom he, that is God the Father, appointed heir of all things, through whom also he made the ages. Also note the divine passive, typically distinctive way of speaking about the activity of God the Father as the ultimate author, and the Son as, I would say, the reason and the purpose for creation. That's why God made the ages for the Son. And Paul does this in 1 Corinthians 8:6, I believe, when he says, through him all things, that is, were created. That's that divine passive. And in the affirmation, Colossians 1:6, for in the Son, in him, all things were created by God. Other scriptures tell us the Son was foreknown or planned ahead of time. You have 1 Peter 1:20. He was foreknown before the foundation of the world, but was manifested in these last times for your sake. The New English Translation Bible has an interesting footnote on the word but. It says that it emphasizes the contrast between these two clauses more than can be easily expressed in English. In other words, you cannot be said to be foreknown, planned ahead of time, if you're already in time. That destroys not only verses like First Peter 1:20, but the whole, I would say, of the prophetic messianic prophecies. The other reason, Eric, that it would be confusing for me to say that Paul is talking about a literal pre existent Son of God here is that it would overturn around 100 statements in both testaments where God simply creates 50 plus times alone by myself, similar to Isaiah 44:24. Again, there's this debate about the preposition en, the Greek en, which is translated in. It's not by Jesus, and I think we agreed on that. It's in Jesus. What does that mean? In the Son, in Him. Again, I think it's a causal preposition. By that, we mean that God created all things, as the Hebrews writer says, He made the ages because of the Son of God, with Him in mind. This is not an abstraction, not a thing. God did not have a thing in mind, obviously. He had a person. He not only had the Son of God in mind, Paul says in passages like Ephesians 1, 2 Timothy 1:9, that he had Christians, all of us in mind as well, before time, some translations, before the foundation of the world, other translations. Now, let me get to some questions here.